You and I are going wine shopping together. You can find a sensational bottle of wine for criminally low prices. Let's get started exploring and tasting new wines together. I am very excited for this week because we are going to focus on one of my very favorite regions in the whole wide world. It's an area that I started learning about very early on in my wine journey. I was reading the wine Bible and I just loved the way the region was described. The wine sounded so mouth-watering that I immediately went out and bought like 5 bottles, and the bug bit me. I just think it's one of the coolest regions, and I hope you do too. So let's head over to eastern France, right on the border of Germany, and learn all about Alsace. In the northeastern corner of France is the gorgeous region called Alsace. Alsace is such a unique region because of its location, just across the Rhine River from Germany. A huge part of Alsace's identity is the repeated changes of its nationality, usually during a war. Alsace would change from a French territory to a German one, and vice versa. The result is a region that is not quite French, not quite German, but a beautiful combination of both. A lot of the people who live in Alsace have French first names and German last names. Throughout the early days of its history, its wines were somewhat lumped together with German wines because they were traded together along the Rhine River, a hugely important historic trade route that runs through southern Germany along the eastern border of Alsace. Post-World War II, the German and Alsatian styles diverged, with Alsace tending to ferment their wines completely dry, unlike the sweeter style embraced by Germany. In today's more modern era though, German wines are getting drier, and Alsace has embraced sweeter styles like their late harvest Vendage Tardive and Sélection de Grand Noble. One thing that it held on to from Germany that makes these wines so much more easy to understand than other French regions is their labeling system. Unlike almost all of the rest of France, Alsace puts the grape variety right on the label, unless of course it's a blend. If you've ever thought that you don't like Riesling, try an Alsatian Riesling. They are bone dry, they have electric acidity, they are so clean and fresh and vibrant. This region will change your mind about Riesling. Wine here is made from, among others, Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Auxerrois Blanc, Muscat, Sylvaner, and Pinot Noir. In Alsace's 51 Grand Cru vineyards, only Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, and Muscat may be used, with Sylvaner being the exception in one Grand Cru, Zotzenberg. The vineyards of Alsace sit along a narrow strip that runs from north to south. The northern half is called the Bas-Rhin and the southern half, the Haut-Rhin. The Vosges Mountains border the region to the west and the Rhine River borders on the east. The Vosges are hugely important for Alsace as the vineyards that sit amongst its foothills are protected by the mountains from moisture and harsh weather, making Alsace one of the driest and sunniest regions in all of France. The soil types of Alsace are insanely varied due to the region being located on a geographical fault. This means that in a relatively small, compact area, the diversity of styles and expressions of Alsatian wine is plentiful. I grabbed this lovely intro to Alsatian wines, the Hugel Gentil, at Total Wine for $14.49. And now this wine, you're not gonna see a grape on here because this is a blend. This is a field blend, and you'll see field blends both at the more approachable, lower end bottlings and also some of the higher end, more expensive bottlings. Field blends are an ancient style in Alsace. It's very traditional. You still see a lot of these wines being made. So a field blend means that all of these different grapes are co-planted together in one vineyard. They're hand harvested together, crushed together, fermented together. They're together all the time, as opposed to picking Riesling from this block and then Gewürztraminer from this block. These grapes have grown up together. And so in this bottle, you have those 4 noble grape varieties that are allowed in Grand Cru, the Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Muscat, and Pinot Gris, along with Pinot Blanc, and then that one exception to the rule with the Grand Cru, Sylvaner. So you've got 6 grapes that are co-planted and then produced into this lovely blend together. Hugel is a wonderful producer to look for. This is an ancient house. It goes back to 1639, and they're one of those benchmark Alsatian producers that you know you can trust to grab a bottle, and it's gonna be delicious every time, and a great example of Alsatian wine. You'll notice the bottle might look kind of like a German Riesling bottle or German wine bottle, but they call these Flûte d'Alsace, and these are a legal requirement for producers to bottle their wines in this style. So let's dive into the glass. I'm so excited, I love these wines. And it just smells like Alsace. I don't know why, but there are certain regions that I just smell it and I'm just there. I highly recommend visiting this region. It is one of the most beautiful, cutest. They have the French kind of joie de vivre and relaxed quality. They love their food, they love their wine, they love to eat, but they're also very organized. But there's so much going on in this glass because you have all of these amazing different grape varieties in here that have very distinct personalities, right? So you've got two very floral grapes, aromatic grapes like Gewürztraminer and Muscat. So you've got lots of like roses, white flowers, orange blossom, you've got stone fruit notes, you've got peach, you've got apple, you've got some tropical fruit notes as well, lychee, passion fruit, mango, papaya. The Riesling is giving all these lovely citrus notes, the lemon, lime, tart zestiness. Green apple, there's green pear. It's just so fresh. It's like a whole big bunch of fruit in a basket just being handed to you. There's this kind of chalky minerality though too that's very linear and crunchy. Spiciness as well. There's like ginger, saffron. There's great value across the board in Alsace. Even with their Grand Cru, some of them can get very expensive, but when you compare them to like Grand Cru Burgundy, these wines can age as well. I remember getting a bottle that's still in my fridge. It's a 2013 Marcel Dice Grand Cru, another excellent producer, and I got it at the winery, and they told me it would be infanticide if I opened that bottle before it was 20 years old. But so these wines have the potential to age so beautifully. I suppose I'll drink it. On the nose, for smelling this, you might think because there's florality in all this fruit that it's going to be sweet, but this wine is dry. So much going on. This is not just a, watery, kind of simple, fresh white wine. This is still fresh, but you've got so much going on because it's this field blend. I love the field blends. They're such a wonderful example of the region as a whole. And it has such great tradition behind it as well. Yeah, the tropical fruit is lovely on here. Underripe to ripe tropical fruit. The florality, again, these yellow roses, the lychee and passion fruit, a little pineapple as well now. Mandarin, tangerine, the pear as well again, and the apple, and all that zest from the Riesling, the lime and lemon. It's got medium plus acidity. It's lighter bodied, but it does have a roundness to it. It's not heavy, I would say. It's light to medium bodied. It has this nice kind of soft edge to it and this luscious kind of creaminess as well that makes it even more interesting to drink. Moderate alcohol, we've got 13%? The food pairing with this, I gotta tell you, if you go to Alsace, the food will kill you. The food has a lot of German influence. It's heavy. You have a lot of cheeses, creams, butters, potatoes, meats. You've got this dish called choucroute, which is sausages, hams, and all these meats along with sauerkraut and boiled potatoes. I had it like 5 times and I wanted to die because I was so full, but I was so happy. But it's heavy. You've got veal and cream sauce. You've got white asparagus when it's in season. Absolutely beautiful there. All of these rich foods that a high acid, light white wine just cuts through like butter. These wines go so perfectly together. You don't want a heavy wine with this heavy food, it's just gonna bog you down. So they drink a lot of white wine, a lot of Riesling, a lot of high acid white wines. They just balance the food out beautifully. But if you order a salad, they're gonna be like, we don't know what that is. They also do this lovely thing in Alsace called tarte flambée, which is gonna look like kind of a thin flatbread pizza to us. It's this thin pastry with all these rich cheeses and green onion. And then if you want, you can add ham on there. Why wouldn't you? It's like bacon and it's so good. You get a bottle of this, takes me back. You can tell just like how much I love this region. If you've never had Alsatian wines, I hope you discover it. I hope you fall in love with it as much and more than I do. If you can find a red, they don't make as much of it, but they're absolutely beautiful. There's a producer, Domaine Weinbach, that makes a beautiful Pinot Noir. It's not super cheap, but it's also not like crazy. And they're just gorgeous, elegant wines. Just try more Alsatian wine because they're so fun and there's so much variety. There's Alsatian wine for everyone. So let me know what you think. If you're already a fan, who are some of your benchmark producers, your go-tos, your favorite styles? Let me know in the comments below. And until we open our next bottle of wine together, keep exploring and trying new wines. Cheers.